We were on day 2. My camera died, so I got the thermostat out and the water pump out. So it's something I learned, because this pipe right here will not release. I had to come out and through there. I took out the air intake T20 on this, and I took out the reservoir. So I was able to reach a bunch of clamps down through here. Okay. Down here, I pulled the thermostat through here. I released the sway bar and changed out everything else through here. Okay, so it allowed me to get the room on it to slide in and out. But the thermostat itself has to go in through here again. So that's something I'm going to be doing right now, is trying to get this thermostat back in place. Because the sway bar is released right here, I may end up putting this pipe on last. I'm not really sure yet, so not sure how this is going to go, but we're going to do it. I've got clips everywhere. So let's get started here. See what happens if I just see if I can pull that back. Right there. So we're gonna have to put a clip in that pipe, but you can see we're pretty much lined up. I gotta find my two bolts for this thing real quick. These two. Okay. See, turn this in like this. Okay, now the way I got it in there was I left this tube in here really loose. That clamp's off there, so I gotta put a clamp on, but I lined it up where I had this here and put the clip in. Water pump's clipped in, so we're pretty much good right there. Okay, we're looking at it and like, okay, so we need a clamp on that one. I got that one's tightened up already, but there's a bunch of these hoses that go to the top. So you'll see there's a bunch of them that go to the top, but there's one on the back, I think. If you need to look, you can see that's the front of it right here, and that's the bottom. So it sits in there like this. There's one that goes to the back. There's one that goes to the bottom, which I already put on, and there's that top one. So you can see right there, there's those pipes right there, and that pipe right there. One of them goes to the here, okay. You can see that one goes somewhere down here and walks in, so it's probably that deep one. And there's no clamp on it, so we gotta get a clamp for it. So I got a fucking clip in there. So it tells me it goes over and under like that. Okay. So this wiring is going to be a problem to come up. The wiring has to come up over like this. that one snapped in. Okay. That wiring has to go on the other side of that, but let's see, that one's on there tight. The hose routes around the outside of this and down in here for the reservoir. So make sure your wire is not on this side. Make sure it's on the other, and make sure this pipe runs along the outside of here. I think that's right. Let's see from the bottom. I need a clip for that one to go back in. Just clip for it. Okay, so that's all. So you need to make sure that these clips, see how it's sitting in the groove there? You want to make sure the clips are sitting in the grooves. If they're not, your next all done. So we got the clamp, clamp. Alright, so we got to put a clip. Let's see if this is stick. I got all my pipes back in. I ran all my. We're gonna put that screw in, but I put my sway bar back in. If you have issues getting this side, one of these bolts back in, take a pair of pliers and squeeze right here, and you can pull that in there and then shoot it in. So that was how I did it, how I got it flush, because I had it offset where one of these was not going in because of the angle of the bar. So if you have to do that, just do it. It's really not a big deal, but we're gonna go ahead and shoot that. I mean, the stupid SIM card keeps falling out. I'm probably gonna have to order a new camera. So, let me see. There we go. Okay. Day 2 on this. Pretty much done. Put the top back together and start putting some antifreeze back in it. But we're pretty much golden. Let's button up and finish up here. A couple of these go at the bottom. Let's see, so what do we run first? We're probably gonna run radiator pipe back. Okay. So that goes this way. This goes this way, so you can see we need to kind of force this in. Okay, that's in. So we're going to go with our What's up, y'all? So I just got done with my BMW video. Okay, so I decided to do this once I got back to the house because it was just loud. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Smoke a cigar, all that. So when you do a water pump or thermostat in a 3.0 BMW E90, E91, okay, there's a bleed procedure for it, okay, where you hold the, you put the ignition to the on position number 2, so it goes in, and you push it without your foot on the on any pedals, and you're going to hold the accelerator to the floor for 10 seconds, and then you're going to let it go, and you're going to hear almost like a washing machine sound, a little mini washing machine sound, and that's the pump will actually do an electronic prime, okay? And when it does that, you want to open the bleeder screw or the cap underneath the hood, and it'll start spraying out a bunch of air out of the line, okay? And so you have to do that when you install a new pump. The other thing I was trying to tell you guys in the video, and I may include it, I may not, I don't know, my video is going to be a chop up for this. I'm probably going to do another one just so I can kind of do it more thorough, okay? So this is more of, I guess, this is like the shitty video for
the BMW thermostat water pump, is you want to replace fuse number 33 and 37 in the glove box. Okay, they're 40 amp fuses. Generally, the 40 amp for the water pump is going to be blown. Okay, so you want to replace that. If you notice that you hold the pedal to the floor for 10 seconds and you're not getting, the prime procedure doesn't kick on, generally that fuse is blown. Okay, that's just how it is. Some people have reported that the 40 amp fuse will continue to blow and you'll continue to have issues. Inspect your grounds and inspect your harness for the pump. A lot of times they send you a new clip and harness for it. I didn't replace the harness for it because it really wasn't in that bad a shape. So I didn't replace the wiring to it. I just replaced the thermostat and the water pump. And after that procedure, really, there's a couple of things that you need to know. When you take out the upper radiator hose, there is a coolant hose that goes to the bottom of the upper hose, and make sure you put that in or you're going to be leaking from that side. Always check for leaks on those sides. Make sure all of your hoses that you push in and then you clip them in, or if you have your clips already installed, when you press it in, listen for a click and tug on them just a little bit to make sure that you're good. Okay, that being said, it really isn't that hard of a job. It's just tedious, and it's for somebody that works on like Japanese or American, it is a very daunting job because it's all mashed in there, bro. Like there's hardly any room. Once you start taking the fans out and you start taking things out, you'll start to see there's room. There was a hose in the video that I showed you that I reconnected, and that came loose. Okay, and I think it was to EGR, maybe something like that. But that hose, double check that hose, because when you're in there messing around with picks and stuff, it will come loose. I think it came loose for me. I don't know how that hose came loose because I never touched it. So I'm like, well, I don't really know what happened there, but something happened. So make sure you double check your hoses with it. Make sure you do the bleed procedure. If you don't do the bleed procedure and you just open the bleeder screw and you run it, it's generally not good for the new pump. It can burn up the new pump. You have to make sure that you prime the air out of the pump before you're running it. Some people would disagree with me and say all I did was open the bleeder screw and start the car and I bled all the air out and it was fine. And it's like, that's generally not a good way to do things, okay? So it's not a regular water pump that's driven by a belt or driven by a chain, okay? These are different where they're electronics. So you want to make sure that these are primed right, because any air in them, you're going to have problems, okay? So that's what I recommend. When it came to the BMW job, this was actually, this was my first time doing it on a 3.0. I've never done a water pump or thermostat on a 3.0 before, on a Beamer. I never really worked on BMW before, so BMW, Mercedes and Volkswagen, yes. But BMW, this has kind of been my first 2-3 years where I've worked on them, and I've worked on some of them doing brakes and like suspension and like valve covers and stuff like that. But you have to know how to work on them if you own them, okay? So make sure there's a 7.5 amp fuse and a 30 amp fuse, sometimes a 40, that sits in the engine bay passenger side, where the ECU wiring box is. There's 2 of them in there. I replaced both of them. A lot of people say that those will go to crap too and they'll blow on you, okay? And different models, like different eras, have different fuse setups to where, well, I looked in there and I was like, okay, well the 30 amp is supposed to be right here and it wasn't right there. So it was a 40 and a 7.5 instead of a 30. So I was like, okay. So I replaced both of those and the 2 40s that were in the glove box. Here's my thing is, if you do a water pump and thermostat job, just replace those fuses. Like you're gonna have a lot less problems if you just go ahead and take that initiative and do it. And the fuses are cheap, bro. You can get a fuse kit for like $10 on Amazon. You can get them cheap, okay? Or you can go to the store and just get a little kit. So for me, I did it that way, not only because all of them were pretty much blown, but it was just like, just be smart about it, okay? Beamer, they're known for electrical issues. They're known for this. So when you do it, just get it done. Get out the way. So until I do another video on it that's more thorough, a lot of my camera angles were bad. So I cut out the first half of the video. And it was mainly because I was so dang busy doing what I had to do that I was more focused on my job and using my camera as a flashlight, okay? So the second day, I filmed it. That was going back in. So I didn't film the pump coming out or the thermostat coming out, which the thermostat is a tight squeeze through the front of the car. Here's the deal. Some people will tell you, and this is my problem too, is I couldn't disconnect the lower radiator hose. I was afraid that if I disconnect that lower radiator hose, I'm gonna snap the fucking nose off that radiator, and I'm pretty much paying this for this woman's radiator. She's gonna be pissed. So I was able to sneak the thermostat back in, okay, in and out with the lower hose still in. Something I will tell you is it's a tight squeeze, but when you do it, okay, you want to make sure that the hose that's on the back of the thermostat that goes to the water pump, you have it on there in the right angle, but you leave the clamp loose so you can spin it, because the original clamp that's on it is really hard to get to because it's facing upwards, and it's like what? So a lot of people will pre-install them and then throw them in. I would recommend doing it a different way, where you have the clamp loose on there, so when you have it ready mocked up, you can flip that clamp downwards, so you can just shoot it with your ratchet or shoot it with impact, whatever you need to do, and you can bolt it up that way. It's a lot more simple. It gives you the ability to manipulate the hose a little more, okay? And from there, you can just put clamps on, do that, put clips on. It really isn't that bad. I honestly... The thing is if you look at the thermostat, there's like 4 or 5 different hoses that come and go from it. So it's annoying, okay? It's like this brain box to the coolant system in there where it all kind of goes to this. I would recommend getting the metal replacement, not the plastic, okay? A lot of people would tell me BMW hasn't had any recalls on the plastic ones, which is cool, okay? It's cool. But the metal one that I got was a lot more durable. It seemed to fit a lot better. I wasn't so worried about shooting bolts in and cracking something. It was a lot better. One thing I would recommend to anybody that does the job, and they would probably agree with me, is take the sway bar and lower it down, okay? And when you lower that sway bar down, go on Amazon, and it's like $18 for 2 bushings. That was my problem after this job, and I got to go back and replace them, was that the bushings were OEM. So 150,000 on them, you know, they're pretty much ready to go. So there was a popping noise when you kind of stop and stuff. So not a big deal. It's 4 bolts. It's worth the $18 to just do the sway bar, because you're probably not going to be taking that off anyway afterwards. I still have to do like a pan gasket, a valve cover gasket, a whole bunch of stuff to this Beamer. So I'll be all over this BMW. It'll probably be on my page quite a bit. 328i. I have Bimmer Geeks as well, so I'll probably be doing some videos on how to code things. I already did an EKPS module on this and coded it. So I've already used Bimmer Geeks. I already have the cable to my phone, to my laptop. I have all that stuff, okay? So I'll be going over a lot of the Bimmer Geeks stuff, which is really cool. So, you know, honestly, fist bump to those dudes, because when I did the EKPS coding, that was easy, bro. I thought I was going to have a whole bunch of trouble sitting there with a laptop all day. Did it from my phone, and it took me no time at all. So you can code batteries, you can code all sorts of stuff from it. It's a really nice thing to have, okay? So when it comes to this BMW, though, this will kind of be not like my guinea pig for the channel, but this will probably be because it's one of my... I take care of this woman a lot. So I take care of her Volkswagen, I take care of her BMW. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of videos on those 2 cars, the Beetle, the 1.8, the Beamer, the 3.0. I've already done a valve cover on a 3.0 on my channel that was quick. It was somebody that I did a parking lot call for it because it was leaking like a sieve, okay? That being said, okay, I'm going to go deep into BMW probably through, well, I guess what I call season 3. There ain't no real seasons with this because I'm just posting and posting and posting. So it could be that I just start season 2 and I organize it all. I don't know where it's going right now, but BMW, I'm going to hone in on that because I have software for it, okay? I have tools for it, I have this and that. What else can I tell you about doing that job? The E-socket bolts that hold the pump in place, make sure that you got replacements for them because they're one-time use, okay? So they're aluminum bolts, they're one-time use. I think it's like an E12 socket. So get a deep socket, E12 deep socket. I used an electric ratchet to take them out, and it really wasn't that bad. Out and in, and I was good, okay? So when you take the pump out, you're going to want to take it out through the bottom of the car, not through the front of the car, and it will slide out easily. For some reason, though, the thermostat will not come out through the bottom. I don't know why. It's just the way that it's shaped with the male fittings on it for the thermostat. It just has a lot of issues. So take the thermostat out the front of the car and kind of shove the lower radiator hose out of the way. And there's a hose, another coolant hose that goes underneath it to the radiator. Okay, you're gonna want to make sure that I did it with that installed. Actually, I didn't take that one out at all. A lot of people online said to remove that one and kick it to the side. I didn't have to remove it at all. I came out and towards the passenger side headlight underneath, and I went down and out and repeat steps back through. So when you're putting it back in, the problem that you have with the thermostat putting it back in is that you have to make sure you put that in at the right angle so you can bolt it up. If you have it in there twisted and you're trying to do this, there's no room in there. So you need to make sure that the angle in which you took the thermostat out is the angle in which you put the next one in. So until next time, Lone Wolf, peace out, yo.